Hi, welcome back to Doyle.Lechner Art. I'm Sam. Thanks for coming along today and watching my video. So I decided for this week to take you along on a walk with me into my town of Sondershausen, which is in the heart of Germany. It's a lovely sleepy little town and we have a very beautiful town park with 3 large ponds. And in these ponds at the moment, in such beautiful weather, we have a lot of algae, but we also have lots of frogs and ducks. They're very beautiful drake ducks with their colourful heads, and they're all partnering up at the moment so that they can go and make some nice little duck babies. Maybe we can catch some of them on future walks in the park. So sweet. But what particularly caught my eye this week were the frogs. On this walk, they were so loud. There were so many of them that I felt I had to do something with them. So I've decided this week also, not just this week, it will continue next week, is to do a real-time painting with you. Only a small painting, just one that fits into my sketchbook, but also explain a few things to you about setup and things. So because this is in a sketchbook, I'm not strapping it down to anything. I do often put tape around my sketchbooks when I'm drawing a picture, painting a picture, but I'm not actually going to do that with this one this week because this paper is not actually watercolour paper, it's actually a mixed media paper which I'm using for these watercolours. Not my favourite, I have to admit. I generally always do stick to only watercolour paper for watercolours, but this was just an Oddmond sketchbook that I had on my shelf and I decided to use it. It doesn't work very well when I'm painting, and I've used a lot of tape on this paper. When I pull it off, it can rip. This is why I try to stick with watercolour painting paper when I can. So it seems to be quite a long time here, but this is real time. So what's happening is I'm getting my pencils, I'm sorting out that I have paper at the side for my brushes and my work, and my watercolour paints at the side. My watercolours were a little bit, didn't have a lot of space in them because I've been painting another picture and I needed to clear a little space out as well. So I also was setting up my reference material, which was the video that I took on the day, a few photographs that I took on the day of all the frogs that we spotted as we walked along in the town park. So it's very important that we get everything together when you're setting up to do a picture so that you don't have to keep getting up and going off and getting new things and not staying in your momentum. Nearly ready. So in this time a little bit, maybe I can explain what it is that I would like to do in the next weeks. I have decided that I am going to reabsorb my drama dogs into my Sunday painting. It's not every week that I can come up with an idea for my drama dogs, even though they make me laugh so much and bring me so much pleasure. So I've decided to reabsorb them into my Sunday painting. And with my Tuesdays painting tips, I've decided to move them to Fridays. But I'm going to ask for another few weeks before they continue because I need to do some more research so that I can present you with information that is coherent and useful to you. So from now on, I will only be doing 2 videos a week, and they will be on Friday and on Sunday, both of them at 11 o'clock Central European time. So I have my reference material set up at the side, and I'm making sketches to the about areas where I see things between the paper, my pencil and the reference material. It is a frog. He's sitting on a leaf and some algae. He's partly in the water, so that will be a challenge for me to paint. It's not very often that I paint something with water, but one of these things is for me to challenge myself. When you are drawing and painting through water, the images underneath the water can then be a little bit distorted, and it's definitely something that I'm going to have to watch out for when I start painting. So even if I'm drawing now, I'm sort of getting it to scale. There might be parts that I move later, that I move slightly to a different place. When you start drawing, you do look at shapes. So the frog itself, although it is rounded, is rather a rectangle shape. So that's something that I'm keeping in mind. I'm also trying not, and it's something that beginners do often, and people who are out of practice, myself included, is that you draw where you think something should be and not actually where something is. That's fine if you're doing pictures from fantasy or from your own ideas, but if you're trying to draw something accurately, you really do need to concentrate on where it is and not where you just think it is. That's a big lesson to learn, and for me, drawing this leg of the frog now, I kept feeling like I needed to tuck it behind its body, but nope. On the reference material, you can see it. Also, I don't think I'd ever looked at frogs' feet or toes so much. I think I kept expecting to do webbing, and no, this guy, as he was sitting, it just looked more like he had very long toes. So that's what I had to concentrate on and not do what I just expected it to be. I'm sorry if you hear any jingling whilst we're looking at the drawing today. Maddie and Rosie, my little drama dogs, they're sitting in the living room with me right now, and they're very interested in what I'm doing and coming over to have a look, but I'm concentrating on talking to you. So I feel that when I'm drawing this now, I'm actually because I'm concentrating so much on the actual picture and putting the legs where they are and not where I imagine that they should be. My pencil work, I've made a little mistake now that I'm drawing the leg where I think it should be and not where it actually is. So I'm going to have to go in and correct that. But my pencil lines are getting a bit heavy and a little bit thick. So I really should sharpen my pencil actually, but I'm being a little bit lazy. Hey, we're all guilty of that sometimes. But my lines are getting a little bit heavier than I actually would like. So I'm going to have to watch that. But as you know, I'm not going to paint over these lines anyway. These are just supposed to be reference lines for me right now. Lines to guide me when I do start painting. Now, one of the most important things about frogs are their little googly eyes. I hope we can make some nice friendly eyes on this frog today. He was a nice frog sitting on his little patch in the pond. Didn't stay for me very long. I actually got this reference picture from a video rather than a photograph, because the second they saw me coming, even though I was trying to be as quiet and as sneaky as I possibly could be, they would jump off into the water and swim away. But I'm glad that I managed to get at least this still. Spending about 10 minutes on a quick drawing, a quick sketch is not a long time at all. Maybe I could have spent a bit more time on it, but I'm not going to be keeping these lines, and they're just for reference really for where I would like to take the picture. Markers, pointers, so that the limbs and features of the frog will be in approximately the right places. For example, the lines that I'm drawing now are going to be a vague reference not to something on the frog, but to actually the water line that is surrounding the frog. He's partly submerged. And just a little reference for me that this is the actual shape of the frog, to give it more depth, to give it more feel that it's actually a body there and not something that's just flat. So I'm more or less happy with it. Just little hints of where his other nostril is, and some of these things I won't be able to see once I start painting, but I will be able to remember that there was something there and that I should think of it when I get to that area. His hand on the other side was a little bit, well, actually quite dramatically distorted because of the water, and I'll have to deal with that when I start to paint him. Not going to be a favourite point, I must admit, but we will see. So there was a little rock in the water, just giving some reference to that. So I'm pleased with the picture so far. I'm very pleased with the picture so far. I know that I'm going to be able to do something with it, and as I was saying before, the lines are actually quite heavy for a sketch, and not, I mean, if it was just a picture of a frog, pencil picture, it's something I can work with, keep going. But because I'm going to do a painting from this, I don't want these heavy lines there, so I'm going to rub it out and make the lines a lot less dramatic, so that when I paint, the focus will be on the paint and not the drawing. I don't want too many of the pencil lines showing through in maybe any lighter areas that I perhaps paint in. I don't have an extremely fixed idea about how this is going to look at the end. I have a vague idea of how I would like this to look. So that's what I'm going to play with, and I'm really happy with the progress of it so far. So I hope you enjoyed watching me draw this little guy. Real-time painting and real-time drawing for this project, and we'll see where it takes us. I'm really pleased to be back doing some more videos. I really enjoyed them. If you liked it, please like, and if you liked it a lot, please subscribe and click the bell button so you don't miss any of my videos. Thanks for coming along and watching, and I will definitely see you next week. Bye!